There we are.
We're back.
At last.
It is movie leftovers time. What a few weeks it's been, man. Jeez.
It's been wild, man. We haven't talked in a while, really.
Yeah.
What have we missed out? A Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl happened. That's about it. I can't even think straight.
Mostly, a Marvel movie came out?
Yeah, Marvel movie came out that I've not really interested in seeing. I don't know. How about you? Have you seen it?
I saw it. I already saw it.
Would you recommend that I go see it, knowing me? Or can I wait for it?
You can wait for it.
That's kind of what I felt like.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I can wait for this one.
Yeah. You can wait.
Yeah.
It's a good, like, I'm just chilling on the couch on a Friday night,
Sure.
Have a beer, get some pizzas, like one of those things.
Okay.
It'll be great for that. It'll feel like a really good fun time. But like to go out to the theater, to pay for popcorn, pay for soda, like all that, nah.
Yeah. You would pump the brakes on that one a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I only went because I have that theater pass where I can go.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so like,
worth it though, yeah.
That pass is worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you got those around in your area, but
I think so.
Yeah, for what? I think it's like $23 a month. So in two visits, it pays for itself.
Yeah, that's kind of slick.
Yeah.
Plus you get like the full cinema experience and things, which
Right. And so like I go see movies that I wouldn't normally see just because why not? I mean,
Yeah.
And my theater, like, the town, it's very small, so I don't have to like really go in advance and buy my tickets online. Like I can just show up and I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's funny. Where I live is very much the same way. Like where I'm at is kind of a much lower paced, kind of slowed down area versus the major city around it. And so big theatrical releases like the plus, I feel like movie theaters are for our generation more than they are for the new one. I hate to say that, but like I think people are more interested in what can be streamed and what they can pick through and consume like way quicker.
Yeah.
Like give me the trailer first. I'm gonna watch this. And then I'll decide whether or not like the experience is just kind of different, but I don't think it's as important maybe to the younger crowd than it is to you and I. Maybe I'm overstepping there, but
no. I think 20, 30 years from now, movie theaters will be very similar to like a bowling alley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be around, you can go to them, but it'll be more of a novelty and something maybe older people do than.
Have you ever gone to a theater where it's like padded seat, drop down tray, you can order a hamburger and a beer kind of place, and then it's plays something that it's usually on rotation. It could be a net new movie, and that experience is usually very expensive, or it could be like a really fun, like The Room, like where everyone throws plastic silverware at the screen and like chants all the right lines at the right times. Like, have you been to one of those?
I've been to one. It was in Houston where they played, first run films. It's where I saw. I mean, this will date it. I saw the second Sin City movie there. And me and my buddy got like a massive plate of nachos.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So
I've done that. I've watched some of the retros. I've seen The Room and done that experience. I watched I think it was like Pee-wee Under the Big Top or something.
Oh, nice.
One of those types of things in the same type of environment, which was fun. And then probably right around the same time, I know it wasn't Sin City, but it was kind of around that same time I saw one. So I've been to two. There's one in Austin. I think it's called the Alamo Draft House, if I remember right. Which
that is one of them, yeah.
And then the other one's in Seattle in the CD, but I can't remember the name of that one.
A guy I know owns a movie theater in Spokane. And I have in the past rented out that theater when I was doing my music interview TV show. And so we rented it out and we had the theater for 4 hours and we were interviewing a band for the show. And to do this, we put in the theater a Xbox and we're playing Halo on the big screen.
Yeah.
So we did the interview that way, and then literally everyone just wanted to play Halo for
like that was the hook to get the interview.
Yeah,
that's kind of incredible. I like the bait. But yeah, I think to your point, it'll probably be everlasting to some degree. Some enthusiasts will want to own and operate their own theater, Kevin Smith style, where it will
I mean, just
keep
like
the experience alive. But mainstream way to entertain yourself, no one's going to the Friday night films anymore the way they used to.
Not like they used to. No.
Except
like
for what we're about to review a little bit. Because holy fucking shit, that theater was packed both times I went to see this movie.
Oh yeah, same up here, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it fits. It's very America, so they loved it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Very Tom Cruise. So it's been so long. I forgot the order of operations. What do we do next? We talk about the reviews, highs, lows, right?
Yeah, so
And we
let's
talk about
talk a
the
little bit
money
about
this
the
thing made.
movie. Yeah, let's see. I've got some Rotten Tomato stuff here. So let's talk about right here on Rotten Tomato. On the tomato meter, critics
This
gave it
is
96%.
this is easily the highest tomatometer that we've ever seen, right?
Yeah, I
So
would say
far.
so. 99%. It's right up there with Paddington 2 as
Yep.
far as top level of
Mm-hmm.
prestige. So that's always good. There's Tom Cruise again, just smiling and happy as he's on his quest for death. You cannot convince me that he is not on a quest for death. But yeah,
Yeah.
high scores. Let's see what other. We also had like we'd like to do our fun review, like people that hated it, people that loved it.
And
So let's
also,
take.
this movie is not even a full year old, so
Yeah, this is the most
we don't need
current
the
film we've
inflation
done.
calculator.
Yeah, I thought about it. Just to see what would happen.
It's gone up half a point because inflation is still on the rise.
Right, probably something like that. So Shelby here only gave the film 1 star.
How?
Shelby's in the
That's a person
minority.
with no pulse.
Yeah, well, Shelby says after 30 minutes, I wanted to fall asleep. Boring.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, there's a wave of 5 stars. So Shelby's alone on that island. Yeah.
Shelby.
I
don't think. I mean, we would normally compare and contrast a 5-star review to.
I've got a 5-star review.
There are so many 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, example, the first thing my eye fell to, Vicky W. Loved seeing Maverick airborne again, 2 exclamation points. It was fun to see again and again and again. She's right. I feel the same way.
Michael's got a true blockbuster. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wonderful follow-up on Maverick to Top Gun. Interesting in finishing all the relationships for his friends and his love life.
Yeah.
Great closers for Top Gun and Maverick. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
It's really great. So this film, like you said, was released last year. Mm-hmm. It had a budget of $170 million. Its box office worldwide is just a shade under $1.5 billion. So it doubled its money, which is fantastic.
I'm probably sure by now it's eclipsed that globally. Do you have a date on that?
That's the current.
Oh, it snapshots when you run it. Oh, dude, sick. Yeah. I believe it, man. There was a ton of people that were like, hey, it's my 4th time and I'm still eager to get to the front of the line kind of thing. So,
well, this film specifically is one that experts have said saved the film industry more so than like Spider-Man or anything like that. And the reason they say that is this film brought out the olds, your 50s, 40s, late 30s, your 60s. They all came out. That demographic came for this film. It wasn't your teens and early 20s that go to the Marvel films.
But they're also not ever coming back out of their houses again after this. So I'm not sure saved the industry is the right word until we see a trend going.
Well, what they're saying with that is it's proof that if you can make the right film, the olds will come out.
Well, and people were betting on the cast. And we had some teasers for a while, but he held this thing for 2 years for theatrical release because and I watched a bunch of interviews after the fact, both with him and Miles Teller and a bunch of other people.
Paramount wanted to put it on their streaming.
Yeah, and he was like, we built, my team, the production team, everyone built this to be a theater experience. We're not releasing this early. It's worth the wait, we think. Yeah. And they rolled the dice on that a little bit because the hype train kind of had that bell curve and then died off a little bit. And I kind of forgot it was coming out at some point until YouTube was like, hey, nudge, nudge, nudge. Look at Tom Cruise in an airplane. And I was like, oh, yeah. So it worked. But that was kind of an unlikely story, I think. I'm not sure you could do that. I hope we don't have another reason to pair that example against because that was pandemic related, right? Let's not have another pandemic. But
it's kind of weird how that worked out. So we had trailers for this, like the Batman and a few other films, like literally 2 years in advance of the films.
That's right.
Because of the pandemic. But then, like nowadays, we're not getting trailers till like 3 months out. It seems like 6 to 3 months out, somewhere in there is now the new sweet spot, and it's crazy how that's working.
It's crazy how it's working, but it's also crazy how much story they're putting into these trailers. Like,
Yeah,
I like the sizzle reel. I'm just old school that way. I guess I am getting old. I guess that's what this is
well,
proving.
it's funny.
Because it's like I want the experience. I want to be a little surprised. Like I can read a fucking plotline premise in half a paragraph and see, the modern trailer and be like, do I need to see this? No, I'm pretty sure I know what happens.
What's really funny is like that's a common complaint right now,
Yeah.
and I 100% agree with it. But if you go back and watch old trailers from like the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, up until I would say early 70s,
I was going to
they
say
were
the
all
70s.
like that.
The 70s trailers were like chapter 1 of the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd
It would
go
be
on
like
for
it's a
6
story of a
minutes. It was
man.
like,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
hell bent on revenge.
Right.
At
And he's got to
nighttime.
find, yeah, at nighttime, searching
Just
for these
past
people.
4:30 when he drinks his tea.
Right. And it
Yeah.
would just go point for point, the plot points. It's like, well, thanks, man. I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, you know what it is? I think you and I are just broken because we both have a love for 80s and 90s, like over the top action films and ninja stuff and explosions. And I think that just, yeah.
We're both
In a
emotionally broken
world,
for
I
sure.
think that's what broke our ability
Yeah.
to see the movie industry the way we do now.
Yeah, for
Perhaps.
sure. Oh, for sure.
So it doubled its money. We need to pay the bills too. I think we should probably step away. We'll come back and we'll talk about our drafts, plans, retrofits, all that stuff. What do you think?
Okay, sounds good. And we're back.
We are back. Magic.
So, do you want to go first, or do you want
I
me to go?
I do,
Okay,
because
go for it.
I want to spend a little more time on yours than the notes that I had, and the reason for that is because I probably rewrote this 5 times in the last week and a half, and I didn't like any of them. I started making behind enemy lines when I took a step back and read it. I rewrote a James Bond script. I'm like, nope, that's not. So very, very difficult. But here's the thing: these guys made a movie with a faceless villain.
Yeah,
TopGun Maverick. That's really hard to do, and to make it like character driven, stay with the character, develop the character. We got to feel something when we saw Val Kilmer in that scene together and stuff. So it was very, very tough. So I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the storyline, and I might probably write a sequel down the road with some elements that I like, but I couldn't formulate a way to rewrite this film because that was the challenge I set out for myself. So, like the cast, minor tweaks ahead. I didn't super care for the story. I'll give you that. That's sort of my top billing. I thought the Miles Teller bit was basically Goose was the star of the show and he wasn't even in the movie, right?
Right.
Nevertheless, love the cast. I think everyone did pretty good. They left a little bit on the table, I think, creatively, but I felt like they were really just trying to tie off loose ends of the Maverick storyline, and they did a beautiful job of that. Miss Garner looked amazing.
Yeah.
So what if? I mean, it felt like a movie, like an actual movie, but not in the cash grab way. Speaking to the character development, I think this is the best hot take. I think this is the best sequel ever made. This is better than Blood Rain 2 Deliverance.
Well, I don't know, man, because Terminator 2 exists.
Terminator 2 exists. I thought about that. I thought about the Christopher Nolan series Batman.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Second one of that is really good. So cast not replacing anybody. I like them that much. I am adding Michelle Rodriguez in here somewhere. Could she be a colonel or something? Like, she's too perfect for a film like this not to be in it.
Yeah, she'd be a great addition for sure.
I think I like her so much that I'd be willing to replace her for John Hamm in his role. He's about the only guy, and I like John Hamm, but I'm not sure.
I like John Hamm. John
I don't
Hamm is
think.
perfect as either businessman or military man.
Did
Like,
you
he looks
connect with
just
him
like
in
that.
this film?
Did I connect with him?
Yeah, or
I
did you not like him in this role? I didn't really care for him in this role, but I like him as an
He
actor an
didn't
awful
have
lot.
much to do other than be like, "I'm angry. You
Right,
can't do that, Maverick."
right.
Yeah,
And also, it kind of doesn't explain why Hondo's there.
right.
That kind of bothered me. I might tweak the storyline a little bit there and be like,
Other than nostalgia.
yeah, like Hondo, you are either the director or the senior manager for like an experimental rocket ship space shuttle airplane
Thing? Yeah.
thing. How the fuck did you end up back at Top Gun too? Like he's just there. I love it, but he's just there for like no
He's
real reason.
Maverick's roadie.
So I think I would probably start working up a third and final, but I would basically go at it from the premise of what if Pete Mitchell didn't dodge all the promotions?
Yeah.
What if that was his last hurrah? And I know it goes against the character of Maverick, like I'm a pilot, that's what I do, blah blah blah. But like I don't know, maybe his hearing starts going and he loses equilibrium a little bit, and so he can't fly anymore, and he has to start taking promotions. So you can turn all those distinguish into like an actual job where he has to put some thought and planning into it. And then I thought that's really fucking boring. Like, what are you going to do with that? Maverick's at home being world's coolest stepdad who has a hearing problem and can't fly. This is a perfect movie. I can't rewrite it. That's what I came to. Like, I have 3 or 4 scripts that I like deviated from. They're not even worthy of talking about. So I could do something. I think it would be worse than what we saw.
Uh-huh.
And I know that it's a little hot takey, but this is on the Rushmore, man, of best sequels ever made, if not up there. And I'm feeling you on Terminator and stuff, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I would add Michelle Rodriguez in there. John Hamm, jury's out a little bit. I'd even force Michelle Rodriguez in there somewhere because I think she's just too cool for school in a film like this. But man, they tied it off. They had old school Porsches. They had a little boating scene. He had an awesome love scene that wasn't drawn out, or a love story. And the love scene they had wasn't drawn out and really cringeworthy. Did you rewatch the old one through this experience too?
No, I did not. No.
It's pretty cringeworthy watching
Yeah.
Take My Breath Away and stuff from the first one. And like this one was actually kind of adorable in a lot of ways.
Right.
You know,
It's the sequel to the film you remember, not necessarily the film that you watched.
correct. And you know, kudos to them. They both look amazing. Cruz and I lost her name.
Jennifer Connelly.
Connolly. I think I said
Yeah.
Connor earlier. Sorry, Jennifer
Yeah.
Connolly.
I just kept picturing Sean Connery being in there.
Yeah, which would be a fun.
He's the love interest for Maverick.
Yeah, it'd be a fun re-edit there.
Yeah.
But they didn't overdo it. They didn't make it disgusting. I thought the funny parts were genuinely funny. I thought the character development was genuinely awesome. And not to overhype it, because there's a lot of this movie that you're like, wow, you reshot the first movie damn near block for block.
Uh-huh.
And you sprinkled in new characters that are just replicas of the old character. But
Right.
if you think about, even like, if you were to imagine the military structure is just like this class goes, this next class comes in, this next class goes.
That fits.
It's plausible that it kind of fits. You're going to see the
Yeah.
same, maybe a couple types of people engaging in the same types of ways. But how they tied this together and made it more character and emotionally driven than just a 1980s film with hard bodies playing beach volleyball with sunglasses and just jamming the 1980s down your throat as hard as they possibly can with cool airplanes and partials. It's like, this was a smashing film, and it took the formula and just it turned it up to 11. So I'm going to leave this one where it is. This is not something I would probably ever do for content and be like, I'm going to keep it the same. But I'm kind of that sold on how well this thing turned out. And I was skeptical going in, man. So I think for the franchise direction, I would probably do a mini series, maybe a Netflix series or something about the program, about some of the tertiary characters. But I would say adieu to Pete Mitchell. I would let him fly off into the sunset with with the lovely Miss Jennifer Connelly and his new stepdaughter. And I'd say we're closing the book here. We can make some more money on spinoffs around
the other characters,
the new classmates, some of their adventures. Maverick retires as the only Top Gun naval aviator ace with 5 kills.
Yeah, I struggled with it as well. The problem is that this screenplay is kind of 2 different movies mashed up together.
I felt that way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, of course, it's the character piece of him trying to reconnect with his friend's son.
Yeah,
and then also like reestablishing his ex-flame. But it's also a film of him, getting his, like, it's very much Stella got her groove back, right? Because he's showing how good he is.
It's also like, in a way, that some of the overtures where technology is going to make what you do obsolete.
Yeah, there's some of that.
You need to start moving on, old man. And there's some of those overtures.
Because, like, when I was looking at, okay, what would I do for a sequel? The first thought that went to my head is like, well, what if Maverick got shot down behind enemy lines and they have to go get him?
That's the end of
that's the end of this film.
Yeah, right? I was like, you just rewrote behind enemy lines. Do over.
Well, not only that, it literally is the last like act.
No, yeah.
So like, okay, can't do that. You can't really do.
Okay, what are your thoughts on this? I think much of the film sets us up for that minute where he gets shot down to then set us up for the fact that guess who's his co-pilot again, who's his weapons operator, and that's Goose's son. It had to be there, and it was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because you strung me along a long time to get to this moment, but you're dead on. This actually happens in the film.
Yeah. And then, then I thought, well, what if you do Top Gun, the new class? Well, you've just done that. That is the whole premise of this film. So like it kind of cuts itself at the knees as other things you could do. Also, honestly, this script, a lot of people joke it's Star Wars because they literally have to hit a small little thing and to blow up the Death Star or, underground nuclear facility, which honestly, this script with a little bit of tweaking could have been a G.I. Joe film.
True.
Like
it would. Question for you. You're a lot more, I would say, classically trained or educated in screenwriting than me. That's just a fact. You've even worked in production for most of your career. Are there truly only 7 or 8 natural stories that can be told?
Yes.
Have you heard that limerick before?
Yeah.
Whatever the idea that there's only 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever the number is.
Yeah, it depends on how you break them down, but there's either 6 or 8. Man versus man, man versus nature, man versus self. Right. Yeah.
So I think in a lot of ways, some of that rebuilding structure is going to come out feeling generic or maybe recycled or something that we've seen and felt before. But try writing a guitar lick these days that doesn't sound like something another band has done, right? So in a lot of ways, I don't know how I feel about that, where it's like, you guys are lacking creativity, or it's like, there's only so many of these you can tell where it's just a different perspective of the same story. You're going to relate to it one way or another, right?
So, okay. So I thought I came up with what I thought would be an ideal sequel.
Let's go. Oh, so you're going to go Top Gun 3 or rewrite
Top Gun 3.
Okay.
Yeah. This is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to do, we'll still get Tom Cruise back in there. We'll get Maverick in there. I don't have, maybe as I kind of talk it out, maybe I'll come up with a name. I'm sorry, I don't have my notes, but I know what I came up with. So
it's working title, dude. I do this quite a bit.
Well, I'm sure we'll come
up with a name. It's also why I got a tablet to write this shit down on.
There you go.
I'll get lost.
So my premise is because Maverick's been in the military for so long, right? Mm-hmm. He's got friends, right? He knows people. So he's going to be requested by a diplomat to be part and lead the fighter squadron that escorts this diplomat through a war zone as they go to some sort of negotiated peace, right? So Maverick's leading the team, and they're going across. We'll say it's some fake country. You don't even have to name it, but they're flying over the country, and they get attacked, and then it becomes, well, who attacked them? Why did they attack? Was it the guys we're helping out, or was it the bad guys? We don't know. And so they go down, they are stuck down in the middle of the war zone, and they still need to go get to the treaty. So it's them going across no man's land trying to get there. It's Maverick protecting this guy. But the problem with this sequel is then you lose a lot of the flight elements, right?
Right.
But you have the people.
He
So
becomes Ethan Hunt a little bit more than
yeah,
Maverick Mitchell.
that's
That's
the
what I
hard part
struggled with.
about this,
Yeah.
right? It's different, but
Mm-hmm.
it's that.
It's
The
like, oh,
other
this is a mission script suddenly.
yeah, this is a mission script. And then
Yeah.
yeah. And you know, the other hard thing about that is, well, then what's your theme other than just a straight action film, right? What is he trying to do? So I think if I was going to do this, the theme or the thing would have to be something along the lines of like legacy and sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And I would end it with Ethan Maverick dying,
Oh,
right?
you asshole.
Saving his friend,
We're going to
right?
lose Iceman and then we're going to lose Maverick.
Yeah,
Come on. Come on.
yeah. I maybe call it Top Gun Legacy, um, Top Gun Last Mission, something.
I had some sketches. I like this, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
giving you shit, but I actually like this script. I wrote a few dumb things like, in all of Maverick's mavericking, suddenly he finds out he has a kid, and then there's a kid in the mix somewhere. And I was like, but I kind of like what they did with the Penny
yeah,
storyline and shit. So I don't think I want to do that. But
yeah.
I kind of thought, what if his son enrolls? But I'm like, that's exactly what we're doing with Goose's kid right now. So what's the
Right.
difference? So this one was so hard.
I thought about like maybe doing a takeoff, like remember that movie Air Force One where the president or Air Force One gets
Yeah.
taken over by terrorists and President Harrison Ford like kills all the terrorists?
Right.
Well, what if you did that, but Maverick is flying the plane because he's been commissioned to do that. He's whoever the president is a friend of his, and so
I would almost like it more if we had some sort of like a wartime story, like the president's on his way and stuff's happening and planes are coming to get him, and Maverick is scrambled to protect Air Force One. So he's up there just dogfighting people from getting to the president. But then you're like, what's the central storyline? Because the most important figure in this film, unless it was written top to bottom for a very exaggerated dogfight scene or three, needs to be the president. So it would almost be like kind of a weird plot. So it's like, I like the idea of him being scrambled to go protect Air Force One while he's communicating with the pilot to go somewhere and land safely. Maybe it's over a body of water on the way back to the, DC or wherever the hell the president's landing. I don't know where he flies out of. That's closest to the White House and shit. But anyway, maybe he's launched from an aircraft carrier. That would be fun. Maybe it's a wartime thing where they're like, Maverick, you have to lead the defense force, not the strike force, right?
Yeah,
or something. But I was just like, this. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. But would you put him in a Boeing aircraft, or would you keep him in a fighter?
Now that I'm thinking about it, you could do a bit where like, so he's on, he's helping that diplomat go across the country, right? And maybe they get they're told you can't land, it's too hot right now, you have to stay up in the air.
Yeah.
So they do the deal where like they have to refuel up in the air, which is always dangerous. So you get a scene with that while they're being shot at. So like it's potentially this air, fuel tank could just blow up at any moment. So that's dangerous. He's got to protect, he's got to fight off other fighters that are or incoming missiles. So like you get some more of those flight elements before you crash. Like maybe crash is like halfway through the film or the end of the film,
right?
And now they got to get a last like mile or two and get
I think that would be fun, actually.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it.
I just like him in the small planes doing the dogfighting and stuff, but that could be pretty cool too. It's just a different kind of tension, but
well, and you could do it too because he's up there for so long. Like, okay, I'm running low on bullets, I'm running low on missiles, and I still got to protect this guy, and I don't know how much longer I've got. So every shot counts.
Yeah,
what am I gonna do? Like, that could make it. That could okay. Now I've talked myself into more liking this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not going to be a situation where like he's flying by, he's out of bullets, so he has to roll the window down and catch like a new magazine of bullets and reload his gun with
Right. There's no
There's
opportunity. Like you
it,
can keep flying because they'll send planes to refuel
it
you, but
if you leave this engagement and touch wheels on the ground, everyone dies. If you stay up
right.
there, possibly only some of you will. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's doable.
Or you can even be like the airstrip has been broken because like they broke the other guys,
Yeah,
so like you can't land. Like they're trying to make quick repairs so that you can, but until they do,
it was funny. I was trying to figure out when they had that like sketchy landing in the first Top Gun, how they were going to cover off on that. And I knew it as soon as he takes off and that front landing gear gets ripped off. I'm like, this is how they're going to do it. He's going to have to drag this thing in on two wheels, and he's going to have to nose the net. This is going to be insane. And then that fighter scene, I was like, they really did have a very thoughtful way, and sometimes not so thoughtful way, to call back to every major cue in that first film to touch it off too. Like,
well,
that took some talent. I mean,
yeah. And what's really funny is, I'm so old. I played the original Top Gun video game on the NES, and part
I
of
was there.
the part of the infuriating part of that game is you had to land on the aircraft carrier, and every freaking time you would just fall right off of that.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a callback to that. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. All the NES gamers for Top Gun are like, there's no way he's going to stick this on one.
No way. No way. So
No,
yeah, man.
This was a super fun rewatch. It was a super hard rewrite, rethink. I did have some ideas I would probably explore on a series, but I kind of liked this one the way it is. I like the idea of exploring maybe some other chores for Maverick to do, protection details, escorts, things like that. It brings kind of a new life to it, but hard not to touch with as much action that this film franchise drives in almost every scene. It's hard to touch on something like that without it becoming a mission script or a behind enemy lines rehash or
right.
But yeah, this was fun. I'm sorry it took so long to get back to everybody, man. But it's it's life on life's terms. Work's been brutal for me for the last few weeks, so hopefully that starts to lighten up a little bit and we get back on schedule. But what I didn't think about our next film, and I know I picked the last one, so
yeah, I haven't really thought of one either. Let me think real quick. There's one I've been dying to see.
Okay.
And I have not had a reason to watch it yet. Well, I mean, I don't need a reason. I just haven't.
Need a reason.
And honestly, the last time we did a terrible film like this, it got much higher downloads than anything else we've done.
Okay.
So maybe it's time for another terrible film.
All right.
Let me just confirm that it's still on Tubi before I turn you loose on it. This is it's still on Tubi. This is a 2014 masterpiece.
Oh, I like that word.
And I say masterpiece. We're going to watch a little film called Bubba the Redneck Werewolf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bubba, I got to make a note. The Redneck Werewolf.
Yes. We are going to watch Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. To kind of give you an idea of what you are in for. Let me see if I can find a picture of good old Bubba.
I think you've sent me a still from this or a link to this once before. I feel like we've laughed about something like this. Maybe
we've talked about it before.
Yeah,
we've talked about it before, and honestly, it just looks fantastic.
Oh
yeah.
So okay. I've seen this before.
Yeah,
not the movie. I've seen a trailer or a.
Yeah, the trailer is just the song because they made a song of Bubba the Redneck Werewolf, and I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It's gonna be exciting.
I can't wait to reboot this and put David Harbour in it.
Do you think this will be better or worse as it is now than Morbius with Jared Leto?
See, the problem with Morbius is Morbius did not set out to be a dumb, fun film.
No, it took
So
itself quite a bit seriously.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's where the disappointment of Morbius is. If Morbius came out like specifically to be like we're gonna be a goofy, weird, fun movie, I think it would have been awesome.
yeah.
Like if they had said it maybe in the 80s and it's just designed to be goofy and weird and silly and a little bit comedic, dude, it would have been so much fun. But even with Jared Leto, like, um you could even got 30 Seconds to Mars to do some like 80s synth type music, which I'd
Oh, I'm
love to
sure
hear
they.
from.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
they would have loved that. I I really think he could work in comic book movies because I like the characters that he portrays, but they're just put in the wrong stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
have a
really did like the Suicide Squad with him in it for what it was, but it
yeah.
was kind of a slap in the face to all of the Batman
Yeah.
franchise fans. And it's like, man, he was really good at that type of Joker. That was really cool. I'd like to
I
see more of that. We're not
I
going to.
I have a feeling that Jared Leto kind of runs into an issue of he's his own worst enemy right now with picking roles.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because he's very method and like when he gets his take on the character, that's it
Yeah.
until the damn thing's done. There is no deviation. So yeah, I don't know if it's because he's picking the wrong things or people can't model the film around the fact that the actor they paid to do this role is going to do it. What you see is what you get when he comes out of the prep stage. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue because I don't know him behind the scenes, so like it's hard to say, you know, because it very much could be a thing where even the directors and the producers like, yeah, man, do that,
Right.
and then okay, well then who's to blame because they all signed off on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say, but yeah, man, Bubba the Redneck Werewolf
All
that'll
right.
be our next film.
Can't wait.
I'm excited for it. So
I'm excited too, and it's good to see you. It's also good to
yeah, you
see
too,
all
man.
of you. For
Yeah,
those of you watching us on Twitch and YouTube, welcome back. You're welcome to chat with us. As we're doing the show, we'll try to answer your questions. Obviously, we normally do a comparison, I think, at the end of these. I didn't really come up with a good script. I had way more to fanboy out about that was done right with this than I think did any creative changes, but we are adding Michelle Rodriguez in mind. So,
yeah,
Dan, you handily win this week for sure for actually coming up with an idea that was
just a vague idea.
a vague idea that wasn't just my thought stream around
Yeah,
ancillary character development in a Netflix series and retiring Maverick. But this was Top Gun Maverick. It is a lot of fun to watch. I think we both enjoyed it more than we didn't enjoy it,
right,
and
for sure.
we would recommend that you see it as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, good to see everybody.
All right, man. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time with Bubba the Redneck Werewolf.
Heck yeah,
Bye.
like.